All right, makeover time. This is going to be a restoration project on this very cool, it's a 12 by 15 Ludwig stainless steel tom, double-headed, large, drilled for large classic lugs. There's the badge, Chicago badge, pointed corners, large classic lugs. You've got the tone control over the top of the muffler. 180 degrees around from the other side of it is the classic mount P1216D in the catalog. And so here we go. Traded this with a friend of mine, Facebook friend of mine, for a bass drum. And it was a good trade because this is something I wanted, and I have plenty of stainless steel bass drums except for the elusive 14 by 26. And boy, do those go for a lot of money when you find one. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the whole restoration project, and it's going to include the badge removal, taking out any kind of really deep gashes. See, here's kind of a bad one. I don't know if you see that right there off of the badge. I'll reference this when I come back to do the end of the project, or when I show it to you for the final reveal. For the most part, it's a pretty good shell. There's no big dents in it. There's kind of some abuse here where the mount was at. Somebody, who knows what happened, but you'll never see it once it gets put back together. So here we go. But before I get started, here's kind of something pretty cool I'll show you. Let's talk about yard sales real quick. I always stop at yard sales to try to find drums, okay? And so today it was pretty cool. Went to a yard sale, and out of all the stuff that was there, I saw this snare drum case sitting there, and I was hoping the snare drum was in there, but it wasn't. And I think this is probably a Yamaha student model snare. But anyway, get this. It'll fit 14 by 6.5, and I don't know if you can see that. Got it for 75 cents. Really nice case. So it's in perfect condition. And snap, there it is. All right, good find. So my point is always stop at yard sales because you'll never know what you find. And I see people all the time, they find drums and snare drums and acrylites for 10, 15 bucks. It's outrageous. Now, number two. So I've got like 4, maybe 5 stainless steel sets, and I'm always on the prowl for stainless steel drums. But this is something that's really kind of pretty cool, and this was a one-off 14 by 10, and this was this is a stainless steel Ludwig. There's the original badge to it. This was a concert tom, meaning it was just one-sided head, and it came with a large classic mount. So what I did is I left that on there, and I just used it to hold the tuning key. And so what I did, now here's a secret, maybe some of you don't know, is that Ludwig 10 by 14 shells, I think across the board, stainless steel shells, have snare beds already bent into them. And I didn't know this when I bought it, but I bought it with the intention of making a snare drum out of it, and much to my surprise, it had snare beds bent in it, and but they're bent in line with the top lugs, and I think Ludwig might have done that intentionally so people wouldn't do stuff like this. I don't know what their mindset was, but anyway, as it turns out, I wound up offsetting the lower lugs, and it's all drilled to Ludwig spec, and man, this is just a ripping snare. It's got stock mini lugs, thrower on it, and your butt, so it's golden. I put an Evans head on it, and man, this thing just rips. Okay, so there's a little stainless steel shell secret. People with their mufflers, man, I don't know what it is. Anyway, so let's get down to brass tacks. So, gosh, what I need, and I thought I had to get started. Here we go. Now, what I'm going to show you here is how to remove the badge. And I'm going to do this video in series, and it might take 4, it might take 5 series to do it, or 5 videos to get through this. I'll show you everything in detail, and we're going to go through all the processes. I'm going to show you where to get the materials, what to do, what not to do, of course, like with all my other videos. So, removing the badge. And this is going to be pretty exciting because I'm going to show you how to remove a badge, take the glue off of it, straighten the badge out in case it's got any wrinkles on it, and we're going to reattach it with the proper grommet. Okay? So, this is just a countersink tool, and it says Morse, high speed, and 82 degrees. So there's an 82 degree countersink. Okay? Right there. Whoop. Now, what I've got a few of them, so. But first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some really high bond tape, and gosh, pardon me for doing this, but I'm prepared. I should have brought some scissors. You should never bite stuff like that because you might break a tooth. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the badge. And what this is going to do is it's going to keep the grommet from spinning when you go to the inside the drill. You're just drilling the flange off of it, okay? So, here we go. Now, always be safe. Don't drill into your hand. Don't do anything crazy. Always be safe, all right? I don't want to see anybody ever get hurt doing a project. So, just be safe. So what I'm going to do here is it's a 2-speed drill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on its lowest speed. And because I just don't want the countersink bouncing around. And this is a relatively fast process, so I'm just going to kind of bump the drill a little bit, and it's removing the brass. Brass is a very soft metal, very easy to cut, and you'll know, keep an eye on it, because you don't really want to ram this countersink or run the countersink into the shell. In fact, you can kind of shave off this grommet just a little bit to where it's still kind of crowned outward or flared outward. And once it starts to spin, you can actually remove this countersink and use the butt end. So here we go. I'm going to take off the tape now. And the grommet didn't spin, not even a little bit. And I'm going to take this now and use it to push out. There it is. There's my grommet. Now, I live in a rural part of Indiana, and I just don't think mufflers are in some people's budget. So I apologize for that. Anyway, so here we go. There's the badge. The badge, I don't know if you can see this, but the badge is kind of flared out from or come off of the sides of the drum and start. And you could do this with any drum, actually, okay? Now, how do I get the badge off? Do I start? Don't want to do that. Heat gun. Now, you don't have to get it too hot, so here we go. Get it hot enough, and it'll just fall off. So, but what I'm going to do is just kind of put a little heat on it. It's already spinning off. Doesn't take a whole lot. Don't overheat it because, oh, see, there it goes. That was less than maybe 10-15 seconds of heat. Now, so what you do is, I'm going to set this shell down. I'll walk this badge, this beautiful blue and olive pointed Ludwig badge. The serial number is, gosh, 1847892. Proper Ludwig. Okay, so it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. Chicago Ludwig badge. Now, come to the back side of the camera. I'll flip this around. You'll notice this has the glue that's on it, the adhesive. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I've got a little pan, tiny small diameter pan, and I put Goo Gone down in there. I just enough to wet the bottom of it, and I'm going to let this badge sit in Goo Gone. Okay, and for about 4 to 6 hours, and then come back and this will rub right off. I've heard people say, well, they take denatured alcohol and put denatured alcohol on this and then put it on the back side, put it back on the drum. You don't want to see that because, man, that's just, if you've got an acrylic drum and you do something like that, nasty. I won't have it. Alright, now we're kind of coming to the end of the video. My next video. So what I'm going to do is give you a preview, and that is what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start doing wet sanding, okay? And I'm going to look at all the scratches, and there's plenty of them. I mean, gosh, I'm not going to worry about any of the dents, because to me, dents are kind of like battle scars or notches in the bedpost. Okay? We're going to keep those. And you do not want to take a hammer or a ball peen hammer and start trying to hammer on this, because once you do, you're going to start knocking dents in this. You'll never get them out. And if you take a hammer, like a ball peen hammer or just any kind of metalworking hammer, believe it or not, if the head of the hammer or the face of the hammer has any scars in it or blemishes, when you start hitting that face of the hammer on this surface, you're gonna put those blemishes right into the stainless steel. I've done it, learned by my mistakes. Okay, so I'm gonna visually go over the drum, and you'll be able to get out every scratch. Okay, any kind of rash. That's what that was earlier that I showed you. That was off of the badge by about 4 o'clock, and I'm really excited to have this drum. I've got, like I said, I've got 4 sets. 5, one's kind of, I don't really count it as a set because it's not a complete set. I use it to add on when I want a double bass setter to go a little bit bigger and add some extra toms. But man, let me tell you, stainless steel, Ludwig stainless steel drums are just, they're hot rods, no doubt. I mean, they're a loud, aggressive, big attack. Nothing like wood shell or acrylic. Acrylic to me, it's a hot rod shell too, but I really don't think, everybody's into the acrylic, but man, you want a really loud, aggressive shell. Stainless steel is the bomb. I mean, you do a rim shot on a stainless steel drum, let alone a stainless steel snare, is just explosive. It's a drum shell basically for loud, aggressive drummers, but also for drummers who finesse and have technique, and because they're very attuned to that acoustically. So I'm talking too much. Anyway, so the next video we're gonna take you through some of the steps of wet sanding, and the next video then we're gonna go through buffing. I'll show you how to buff, and what I use, how I use it, caution, what not to do. I don't want to see anybody getting hurt when you buff, because this is not orbital, an orbital hand buffing. This is a big grinding motor, and it's on a post or a stand, and this thing, if it gets a hold of your drum, it'll ruin the drum. It'll just rip it right out of your hands. You could break a finger, you could break fingers, you can break your arm, you can break your ribs. I mean, it's pretty dangerous. Okay, so when you do stuff like this, man, I always want you guys to be safe. I don't want anybody getting hurt. Okay, so until next time, we're going to put the badge in Goo Gone, and we're going to let it soak. And oh yeah, another thing too, I mentioned this. I'm going to show you how to straighten a badge. If it's crinkled or got any dents in it, and we'll get it nice and round again to put it back on the shell to where it's never going to pull up again. And I'll show you how to attach the grommet and do it in a nice professional way where nobody will ever even know that you had this thing taken apart. Okay? So until next time, I'm so grateful that you guys watch my videos. I appreciate the phone calls that you guys when you make. I really enjoy talking to all of you, and it's a total blast. And I'm just trying to share some knowledge and experience, because I don't want to see any tragic mistakes get made to beautiful drums like these. Okay? So until next time, this will be an ongoing project. Like I said, maybe 4 or 5 videos at the most, and it'll be a daisy when it's done. Okay? So everybody, peace, and enjoy the last days of, well, this is fall. This is the second day of fall, and every day is a gift, okay? So until next time, everybody, peace.